Hello everybody, welcome to another Valdez venture. Today's adventure we're going to be playing with my truck. So I got this new radio for my birthday. This one decided the jack in the back for my microphone decided to stop working. And when it stopped working, I took this, plugged it into my phone, and then called Jamie, muted her mic, and when I spoke into this mic, it picked it up on her phone. So nothing's wrong with the mic. It's this head unit. And lately it's been not connecting to my phone, taking forever, you know, this, that, and the other. It's actually been, let's see, I had to reset it this morning, but the clock was wrong when we got home last night. So let's see what the clock says. 8:19. I'm pretty sure that's right, but I'm not positive. But yesterday it was like 9 o'clock and it was reading like 6 o'clock. So I had to fix that, and it's not the first time it's done that. It's actually done that several times. And this is the KD-X270BT, and I'm changing it for this KD-X270BT. It also comes with a microphone, but when I ran this one, I pulled this overhead center console out, ran it through, pulled the headliner. I took this off, pulled the headliner down, ran it all the way through, pulled this out and ran it down. I took this panel because it just pops off. I usually start it over here, it's easier. Yeah. So it just pops off. Really simple. Not so simple to put back together when you catch a wire behind it. And then it just pops back into place. Just like that. Alright. So what I need to do is take this one out, because whenever I wire radios or anything, actually, I try to keep as much of the pigtail as possible. Like when I wired all these to my LED lights on the brush guard, the pigtail plugs, I used one on the lawnmower. I didn't cut the pigtail down. I left it as long as possible, so if I ever have to go back into it, I can just cut off the old connection and start over. So I actually have the tools somewhere, but I don't know where they are. But to take at least these radios out, now a lot of older, you know, stock radios use the same thing. You need these little tools right here. And I actually have some, I just don't know where they are, so I'm just going to use the ones it came with because that's super convenient. You pull this faceplate off. Super easy. And then, right in this little slot, you're going to take your tool and slide it in, and there's tabs in there that it releases. So you slide that one in there, slide this one in there, and then if those are in properly, you should just be able to grab, which mine's not in properly. There we go. Just grab the whole unit, and then you can take your keys out. And there you go. And now everybody's not going to have this. I have an amp, so I've got my RCA hooked up. I'm going to pull my antenna, RCA, mic, radio connection. And this has definitely been done several times. I guess I ran out of butt connectors or ran out of heat shrink or something, but went to butt connectors, and this was done when I did my amp, because that's what this is. So I'm going to have to cut this one here while I'm in the truck because I added it to this connector. because this connector had this one goes to an antenna, power antenna, and I wasn't positive, so I just hooked it in just to save me some trouble. But this needs to be cut off, and then I should be able to just unclip it. There we go. So now all I need to do is cut this blue one. All right, cut it. I can fix that later. So there's the new mic and the new wiring harness. I'm gonna take it inside, rewire it, and we'll be right back. Alrighty guys, now that I'm inside, we're going to take a look at the wiring. First thing I noticed was these look very similar. So I'm sitting here just trying to figure it out, seeing if everything's the same, seeing if it'll plug in to, because this is the old radio. I'm seeing if both of them plug in, and both of them do, so I'm making sure all the wires are the same, making sure all the locations of those wires in the plug are the same, just because, you know, if I don't have to cut all this apart and I can just fix my mistake from the first time I did it, then I have an extra pigtail for whenever I need it. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm making sure the wires are the same colors, the same location, and just making sure the plug is the same. So I go through all this. The plug is exactly the same, so I take out the new radio, and this is the first time it's come out of the box. This is the first time it's come out of the bag, and there's that satisfactory plastic that I get to rip off. But what I'm doing right now is taking the plastic off, but checking the dimensions, because also if the plug's the same, I'm wondering if the radio is the same size, and it is. So that keeps me from taking that metal piece and having to redo that for the truck. So I really I took the old head unit out, fixed the wiring, plugged it into the new head unit, and put it all in the truck. So I really didn't have to do a lot for this, because I bought I was gifted a very similar radio to the one that I already had, which is really nice, because it saves a lot of time. So I'm gonna get started here in a minute with the wiring process, and y'all will be able to see that as well. So as you can see here, I'm kind of struggling a little bit with the soldering. I originally got this soldering iron before I really learned how to solder, so I never really took care of it. So the tip is kind of bad, so it's not heating properly. The very tip isn't heating, so it's not melting the solder, it's not heating the wires like it's supposed to. So I end up switching to a butane lighter a little later just so I can get it done, but I end up covering the burnt insulation with the heat shrink because it works just fine. I ended up actually going out and getting a brand new soldering iron that has a replaceable tip on it. This one does have a replaceable tip, I just don't have any, so I just went with the quickest and easiest thing that I could do, and that was just get a different one. I will hold on to this one and hopefully be able to get a new tip and take better care of it, but for now I'm just going to switch to the newer one. But for this video, when I recorded it, I just ended up switching to the butane lighter just because it was easier, just so I can get done a little bit faster. So now that this is finished, we will head back out to the truck. Alright, so I got all this wired. I got this one wired. So we can plug this back into the truck. And now we can put the radio back in. Alright, so we take the new radio. We've got that plug. Microphone. Sub. Alright, so new radio is all plugged in. We're gonna stuff it in. See if it fits. She fit, clicked into place. Now let's put the faceplate on. There we go. Let's check that she works. And it's foggy because it was in the house and then it came outside. So it works. Cool. So that is the end of this Valdez venture. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time, and have a blessed day.